Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are having a good start to your weekend. Uh, and just for in case anyone hasn't ever seen any of my videos, I'll just introduce myself real quick. My name's David. I sold my home in Florida back in 2021. Moved out here to Wyoming, bought several acres of land, and it's all off grid. So slowly, I'm building it up into, hopefully a functioning homestead. I've got a long way to go. I have my RV out here and solar, and I haul my water out here. But I hope to have a home out here within the next couple of years built. But anyway, what this video about today is boy, I've had a series of breakdowns and a couple of just maintenance things, but there's one topic I want to hit on: the whole maintenance deal. For the longest time I was just going to the quick lube places, 10-minute oil change, and it's just so nice to pull into that bay. You don't even have to get out of your car, just sit there, they change your oil, and you're on your way. But that kept going up and up over the years. So it just I couldn't help but think how much cheaper I could go into Walmart, pick up 6 quarts of oil, and change it myself. And then you can you buy a container that'll seal it up. It ain't gonna go splashing all over the place when you try to take it down to your local auto store. Most of them have a recycle bin where you can put your oil in, and that's it, and it comes out a lot cheaper. um, Again, going back to Walmart, now this is a 5 gallon container, and then your or 5 gallon 5 quart container, and then my truck takes 6 quarts. So so between the filter and the oil, it's like $40. uh, Now, I several months ago I stopped going to the lube place, and that was before all this trouble in Iran started and oil prices going up. So I can only imagine, it's probably gone up. I'm just guessing here, maybe $20 or $30 more for the oil change. But I was right at $100 for an oil change on my truck. And like I say, I can buy the filter, the oil, do it myself for $40. So that's a $60 savings. And I tell you, I mean, this is the way my mind works. Is for any of you who have seen my other ranting video about the fact that they doubled my property taxes for 2025 on here. Now, I've had the property since, I think I bought it in June of 2022, and it was $428 a month, a year. And so I mean, I didn't have too much of a problem with that. It is an undeveloped piece of land, and I do see some people claiming. I just saw someone's comment last night. He didn't say what state he was in, but he said he only pays $100 a year for his undeveloped land, and it's 40 acres. So I only have 35 here, so he's more acreage and way less than what I am now. Like I say, it was for the first couple of years $428 a year. They just up and doubled it to $1,006 a year. And again, for anyone thinking, "Oh, I'm paying $10,000 a year," again, you got a home, you got electricity, you got uh, public utilities, water, sewer, trash pickup, all that. I'm It's a 56-mile drive for me to get to just the northern edge of town. So I have nothing out here, and I don't want it. I'm happy hauling my water in. Uh, I'll never have be hooked up to the grid. What I've got now, currently just powering the RV, is pretty much enough. In the wintertime when there's a lot of cloudy days, I have a bigger generator. This is a small one that I use just so I can throw it up in the back of the truck here. And if I have to go to a certain part of the property where I need power, You know, I like to have the small one that I can throw in and go do what I need to do. But I have a larger uh, generator that I bought this winter because we had several days of cloudy weather, a lot of, you know, it was snowing and all that, and so my batteries were getting weak, and it wouldn't run the water pump to the RV, so I had to get one. But yeah, I once I get a home built, I'll just get a much bigger system and have. Ideally, I'd like to have one of those Generac all home generators, and really it'll be just for charging the batteries up. You can program them so when the batteries get down to a certain level, the generator automatically kicks on, brings the batteries back up to full, and then shuts off again. So yeah, that's my plan on all that. But yeah, going back to all of this work I have ahead of me, which I'm probably going to break this up into a couple different videos, because just by the time I get done explaining this, I know there's going to be people tune out. I'm the same way, of, you know, just short attention span. So yeah, what I was, you know, in my mind when I think about, okay, if I change my own oil, I do about 4 oil changes a year, so that's a savings of $240. Well, the criminal local government jacked up my property taxes more than double, so that'll be 240 that I can kind of, in my mind, knock off, you know, of my expenses that they didn't get a hold of. So, you know, that is still leaves a difference of about $578 that I need to try to make up for in the added expense of them doubling my property taxes. But you know, it's something I'll figure out some way somehow. And one of them being is the fact that okay, so I've, you know, saving money here with the oil change. Let me just get this out of the way. All right, so one of the breakdowns that I've had, I have a backup, so I have another one. I bought 2 of these pumps. It's a Drummond shallow well pump from Harbor Freight, and they're not that expensive. They're like $169. And what happened, or what I think is happening, if I plug it in right now, you know, the fan on the back will spin, but you don't hear this pressure switch kick on. And so what I'm thinking is it's gone bad. And this was only $14. So if I'm wrong, you know, I'm only out $14, but you know, I'll take my chances there. I mean, if I have to buy another backup, I will, if this doesn't fix it. But I definitely like to have a backup on hand, because I mean, if you don't have your water, your life gets miserable pretty quick. So yeah, I'm gonna be replacing that, and I hope that works. Issue started up with my Mr. Buddy heater, and again, I have a backup for that too. Now, I heat the main heat source in my RV, which I have inside the barn. I don't think you, well, yeah, you can probably see just a corner of it right there. Yeah, I have the RV backed up into the barn, and then I closed off from the barn wall over to one side of the RV, and have it all insulated, and that's where I have the wood stove, and so it can heat, you know, that area inside the barn and also underneath the RV. And if you've ever been in an RV in cold weather, you know they're famous for having drafts because they don't seal all that well. So I closed in that gap from the bottom edge of the RV down to the ground on the far side. So everything that's the hot air that's heating up around the wood stove, it can flow underneath the RV, but it can't escape out the back side. So, you know, that's just warm air, and warm air wants to rise. So it's getting up underneath the RV and trying to go up. And any of those little areas where cold air would be leaking in, so is the warm air. But yeah, I mean, I can touch the side of my RV that's on, you know, the part where the wood stove's heating it, and it's, you know, 70 something degrees. So it does a pretty good job. But, you know, we here in Wyoming, you can get down to 20 and 30 below several times a year. So, you know, it's nice to have added heat right inside. You know, I keep it pretty close to me where I'm sitting there on the couch. And so, yeah, I have a backup. And I had to go to it this year because uh, what's happening there is, you know, I'll turn the switch to the pilot to feed gas in there and get the pilot going, and it'll just, you know, give a quick flash of flame and then go out. Now, what I assume is, you know, inside I have I have like I guess it's about a 12-foot rubber hose, which it's the one that's made by Mr. Buddy. And because you'll hear people say, oh, don't, you know, if you buy the aftermarket hoses, there's oils inside of that hose, and they'll gum up the lines in the heater, and then you're going to have issues. And apparently that's what happened. Now it basically made it through 2 winters, and now I'm having that issues. But I brought this out because this is something I wanted to point out. Everybody will tell you, oh, get the filter, get the filter. Well, see, there's the filter that's for that model Buddy heater. And yeah, I used it, and I only got two winters out of it, and you know, it's already messing up on me. So this isn't expensive. It's only $10, but I don't think I'm going to waste the $10 anymore. If I only get 2 years of use out of it before it gums it up, uh, well, I guess we shall see. I mean, if it literally does it in 6 months next winter, if it's gummed up again, then yeah, I'll know, okay, I guess it'd be worth it. But I kind of find it hard to believe that I can't get like 2 winters out of it just using the regular hose by Buddy heater to feed that thing off, you know, off of I've got a 40-pound propane tank inside that, so I'm not constantly changing out those little canisters. They waste of time with those. But anyway, so I got an issue with that, probably gummed up lines. Sure hoping that it's just going to be the pressure switch on the water pump. Then I'll be back in business as far as having a backup for when that one that I'm currently using goes down. And with this guy right here, it has gotten real hard to start lately. Uh, well, actually, last summer, uh, you know, I was trying to use it often for something, and I was having to pull and pull and pull, and I don't know, maybe 15 or so pulls later, it finally kicked over. But I tried it just recently, since the weather's, well, it's warm right now. It's still roller coastering. I know there's a couple days from now it's going to be 22 at night, so yeah, it's still going up and down. But it won't be long, and I'll be back out here doing something. I have a lot of rocks in the ground and a electric jackhammer that I bust that stuff up with. So yeah, I like to have something portable like this. But yeah, it's not cranking. So like I say, last year when it was giving me problems, I did pull the spark plug out. It's about 6 years old now, and I, you know, pulled the spark plug out, cleaned it up, and it did start faster then, but it didn't last long and everything. So yeah, I'm going to wind up throwing a plug in it, and I hope that's all it needs. These Predator generators are pretty good. I'm happy with them. That's what my bigger one is, the 3500 inside. But yeah, now if you were to, one of my points in this whole video is everything's getting so ridiculously expensive and everything. So I hope if there's people out there that are, maybe they're not that mechanically inclined or afraid to tackle this stuff, listen, the things are they aren't getting ridiculous. They are ridiculous. Whoever thought in our lifetime we'd, a pickup truck like this, starting point could be somewhere around $60,000. And then if you got the four-wheel drive and all this other nonsense, it can go up into the 80s and 90,000s. So I'm hoping that, watching this, because I'm no master mechanic or anything. Uh, I'll say my early years at a high school was bar back, then bartender. And at about 29 years old, I'm looking at the bartender in there that's 55 years old and thinking, man, I don't want to be doing this when I'm that old. So, so I went to a tech school, got a degree, and I worked for 19 years. Uh, but that was in computers, mainly swapping out hardwares. I didn't deal all that much in the software end of it, but swapping out hardware. So I'm used to taking some things apart and putting them back together and all that. But yeah, don't have any major, what I would consider major mechanical skills. And you can learn a lot of this stuff just watching YouTube. So don't be afraid to attempt it if you think you can save yourself a bunch. I'll just run through real quick. Let me see what I say. The buddy heater is $128. I just looked on Menard's website the other night. So it's now $128. And I could swear when I bought that thing a couple years ago, I thought it was just under $100, like maybe 90 something. So yeah, it's gone up a bit. The well pump, $169. And it may just be a $14 part that fixes it. So there's all these things you can do to save on money, and just save yourself a bunch, because like I say, things are just getting worse and worse. And if Trump winds up carrying out the nonsense that he's talking about, total devastation to Iran, well, yeah, just oil prices are not coming down anytime soon. That's all I can say to that, which means your gas prices and food is just going to be ridiculous. Too expensive food will be the best case scenario, because if you watch a lot of these channels that are reporting on all this stuff, and I'm kind of sick of hearing about fertilizer. But yes, I mean, it's just a fact. If the farmers don't have fertilizer, next year's crop is going to be way down, and in some cases, they won't even be growing it. So, yeah, it's going to get really rough. So, um, real quick now, like I say, I'll break this up, because see, this is already, where are we at here? 19 minutes. I guess I should honestly just wait till I'm actually going to do this, but just real quick, this is, that nylon line for like your weed trimmer, and it's definitely small enough to go down the tubes that are inside of here and everything. And honestly, I mean, the first thing I'm going to do is just spray some brake cleaner down through through the tubes that the propane passes through, and then I got a can of air here to blow it all out. More than likely that'll clean up, because all I expect in there really is like an oil residue off of that long hose that I use and everything. But if there was for some reason something that had kind of caked up and was hard in there, you could either get you some of this nylon cord for your weed eater, or even go to a hardware store and just get you some of this wire strands here, pass that through there and break it all up, and then again go back and try to thoroughly clean it with some type of a cleaner, and then blow it all out with air. I know some guys will use air compressor if they got something small enough to, because the end of that tube is not that big. So I just think a can of air, with your nozzle and everything is the best way to go. So yeah, I've got my work cut out for me. Uh, definitely not gonna definitely not gonna show the me changing oil. I think most people know how to pop a plug off of an oil pan and drain it, but I just wanted to make my point. Kind of the way I look at things, a savings here can kind of offset that criminal charge of my property taxes. That really frosts me. I've ranted about it before, and I could just rant about it every day with the nonsense of them telling me, well, somebody else's property sold for 500,000 in your area. Well, I've talked to a few people that said they have a natural spring on their property, so maybe they do, and maybe that property did, but mine's bone dry. And honestly, I'm up on the top of a hill about 300 feet, and I would say I have roughly 4 acres up top here that I want to do everything I want to do. Then on 3 sides it slopes, excuse me, slopes steeply down, and there's some level ground on the bottom of it, but all told, maybe 10 acres out of 35 that you could roughly do something in. Uh, Being up high, it does make for nice views and all that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, 10 usable acres. Uh, no power ran out here. No utilities. No trash. No services that they normally say this is why we have to have property taxes. And I know schools and all that too. And there again, where I'm 56 miles outside of town, there's one elementary school out here. This is all ranch land out here. So you got ranch families and their younger kids, while they're still young enough to be in an elementary school, they've got that somewhat close by. But yeah, so that school, but what I wish I'd kept it, probably threw it away because I was all pissed off. But like I said, my total taxes for the last several years were $428. Well, um, when I looked at the itemized list that they gave for their lying reasons of doubling it, um, there was one charge, and I forget what it was, but that one charge was like $420. So basically, they just magically put in for that one charge the whole charge of what they've been charging me for years. And you can't convince me that whatever that item was, that it suddenly went up so drastically that they needed to charge the whole amount that they would have normally charged for my property taxes for the year for that one item. And then there's everything else on there that they threw on that made it come out to a little over double what I was paying. So again, lies and theft. That's all there is to it on that. But so, see, I'm sorry. That just chaps my ass. So I can't help but rant about it every time I think about it. And I'm sorry, because this video is about uh, maintenance and hopefully repairs that save you from having to go out and buy. Because if I have to go replace the two of these things, it's going to be a little over $300, and I definitely don't want to do that. So anyway, with that said, hope you guys have a good weekend, and I will make probably a part 2 or 3 because I don't want to run these too long, and I'll just show you how simple it is to pop a few screws off the back of this, and a couple in the handle, and then you can pull the side off over there. Get at those gas lines. We'll clean them out, and then give it a try. And then I don't know if I can cut it up to where I can do this too. I'll try to do both of these in the same video. If not, maybe this and Obviously changing the spark plug on here won't take long, so I'll get that changed and pull on it a few times and see if that did the trick and all. So anyway, yeah, so you guys have a good weekend, and thanks for watching, and we will talk to you later. Bye.